Now that the weather's starting to turn colder, I wanted to introduce you to a really useful technique called thrumming. It's basically a technique where you knit bits of fleece, you see here, into your knitting to create an extra warm layer that over time will become felted. So you could use it on mittens, hats. I've decided to try it on a pair of slippers. The slippers are called safari slippers, and the pattern is available from Jennifer Lee on the Lovecrafts website. I've also chosen this lovely coral colour in Debbie Bliss Cashmerino Aran. Some really vibrant colours of natural wool roving and a little bit of sock stop, which you'll see how we use that at the end of this video. All of these supplies are available on the website. The most important thing with thrumming is making sure that you prepare the fibre properly to begin with, or the roving. So let me show you how. Basically, you're just going to tease a little bit of fibre out, then you're just going to roll it up like that. And that's your thrum. That one's a little bit thin, I think, so I'm going to go for a bit of a thicker one. Take a little bit extra fibre. And you can see how nice and thick that one is compared to the other one. So basically you're just pulling gently and a load of fibre will come out. It doesn't really matter if some are thicker than others, but you just do need to make an awful lot of them, because when we knit rows, we're going to be knitting them in every fourth stitch. So do feel free to just go ahead and make loads. Oh, there we go. If you want to make longer thrums, you can pull out your little sample and then you can, within that, just stretch it out a little bit more so you make them a bit longer. I like the short ones for slippers, so there's not too much going on, but for gloves, mittens, you might like to do slightly longer ones. So here we go. Maybe a bit more. So I've got that, and then I'm just going to tease it out a little bit before I swirl it around. Okay, so let's have a go at thrumming then. Now, as I said, I'm going to put one thrum in every 4 stitches. So let's see how that's going to work. So here's the stitch I want to thrum. So you put your needle in. I like to wrap the thrum around my finger so it makes a loop over the needle. And now you knit the stitch as normal and come back through. Okay, see that? So you've got the thrum and the stitch together. Then I'm going to knit 1, 2, 3. Now it's time for another thrum. So I go into the stitch first, wrap the thrum around my needle, and then knit as normal. I'm going to be able to fit one more thrum in here. 1, 2, 3. Put the needle in the stitch, grab a thrum. Oops, this one's a bit wriggly. And pop it on. And then knit the stitch. Now I've come to the end of my row. So now the pearl row, because we're doing stocking stitch, is going to be the row that secures the thrum. So purl the first stitch. Now I'm going to go into the stitch and the thrum at the same time and purl it. But I'm also going to check, I want this loop of the stitch with the thrum just to sit nicely. There we go. That's it. So that you see the thrum. 1, 2, 3, into the stitch, oops, let's move it up a bit, into the stitch and the thrum, purl the stitch as normal, come back through and just give that little tug down. There we go. One, two, three. Here comes our next thrum. Make sure that loop is sitting back. That's it. And the last stitch. Oops. Now let's look at how that's looking. Oh, isn't that looking gorgeous? You can see they're making stitches. Might need to just readjust that one as we go. And this one, this is what I wanted to show you. You see the stitch is not sitting, this stitch isn't sitting behind the thrum. So what you can do, because you really want to see the pretty thrum coming through, is just stretch it out a bit and just pull it behind the thrum gently, like that. So now the thrum is sitting better. You can see that, can't you? Oh, there we go. See that sitting better now. So I do my thrums every 4th row, so I'm going to knit a couple of rows and I'll be right back with you. This time I'm working with the longer thrums and I want to alternate my stitches. So if you see here, I've got 1, then 3 stitches in between. So the middle of those 3 is where I'm going to put my thrums so that it sits in above and in the middle of these blue stitches, blue thrums. Okay, so I'm going to knit 1. That's directly above my previous thrum. 2. That's the first of the 3. So this is the stitch where I'm going to put my thrum. And these are the longer thrums. There we go. And then you do the same 1, 2, 3. Nice long one. And knit as normal. I'm not going to be able to fit another one in, so this round will only have 2 thrums. So this is actually the top of the slipper that I've knitted here, and you can see how the thrums sit. If you keep working your thrum row every 4th row and keep alternating where your thrum stitch goes, you get this really, really attractive pattern. And you can see on the back, there's because I've been handling this a bit, this is already starting to felt a bit, which is going to keep your foot really, really warm. I've also knitted the base. Now the base is, the bottom of the slipper is done all in garter stitch, as you can see here, but I've done exactly the same principle. You'll see in the pattern that there is an increase row, and then I was putting the thrums in on the following row. So you can see how attractive they look. And then look at that, doesn't that look, oh gosh, it's just so tactile. Isn't it lovely? So that is going to form the base of your slipper. So your foot is just going to sit on a sea of gorgeous, cozy woolliness, and the little tongue goes on top like that. So let's see what it looks like made up. And here's the finished slipper. Can you see all that lovely feltiness inside? Now, the only thing I would say I discovered with doing thrumming is that it does pull your work in a bit. So I'd suggest that if you are going to make these slippers, that you do maybe the toe as a tension, almost like a tension square, to make sure that you're getting the right size for your foot. But equally, you can try this on mittens, hats, anything where you need that extra layer of warmth. And over time, this becomes all felted and matted, and will keep you very, very cozy. Now, the sock stop, you're probably thinking, where does that come in? Well, we don't want to have a little accident falling over, do we? So this sock stop is a wonderful, it's like a rubber ink, if you like, and it means you can put it on the bottom of your socks if you're wearing them around the house, if you've got hardwood floors like I have. And it's very easy to use. Let me just give it a shake. There we go. See, you've got a little nozzle there. And what you can do is you can just do blobs. Like that. And you just let them dry, and then they're like a rubberized surface that will stop you from slipping. You can do any pattern. You could cut out a little template, a star, a Christmas tree if you like. And I think these slippers will make a great last minute Christmas gift.